let's jump straight into the questions. Number one is, who do you work for and what do you do? I am a freelance photographer and filmmaker. I specialize in wildlife and I work for nobody. I'm a freelancer, so what that means is that I go out and pitch ideas, projects to people, to organizations. And if they want to work with me, they would hire me. And because I have a portfolio online, sometimes people look for me and they hire me for a job. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Question number two is, how did you get started in your field? It was an accident, actually. I was 30 years old and I told myself I need some kind of direction in my life. I was lost, so what I did is I took some money off the bank and I flew to Komodo Island. I borrowed a camera and lens from one of my friends. I took some pictures. I came back and I showed them to everyone, and people said I should do this. And I thought to myself, why not? I love the process anyway. So yeah, that's how it all started. It was an accident. So I hope I answered your question. Question number three is, what skills and educations do you need to do your job? You don't need any education for this because photography is all solely based on your technical skills, right? But if you are capable of doing some kind of studies on this, by all means go for it, in photography or in creative arts and things like that. So don't limit yourself, right? If you can do it, do it. If you can't, it's fine. What kind of skills? I would say the most important skill of all is your technical skills in photographing, right? Everybody can take a picture, but only a few can take good pictures. Okay, I hope you understand that. Number two is that you need to understand a lot about your subject of interest. If you love wildlife, then you need to read a lot of wildlife books. You need to read a lot about the location or places, habitats that they live in, so things like that. Okay. The other skill is, I would say, time management, because spending a lot of time out there is money, right? You're gonna spend a lot of days. So when you go on a 10-day expedition, you need to manage your time properly so you come back with good images and a good story. Other than that, I would say your finances as well. This job does not secure you a prominent paycheck, so be careful. Not everybody gets the opportunity, right? So you have to be very good in your finances. Buy what you need, don't overspend, and at the same time, I think you're saving the planet too. I hope I answered your questions. Yeah. Number four is, what originally made you want to do your job? Oh, and is it still the same thing? I love animals. I really, really love animals. I think since the age of 3, as far as I can remember, I love being in the outdoors. I hate being in the city. So if you throw me in a jungle or up in the mountains at minus 40 degrees, I have no problem. I can stay there forever and never talk to anyone. And is it still the same thing? Yes, I am still doing this, but because of the pandemic, we don't have any more jobs, and I hope things get better. Okay. Mm, I hope I answered your question. Number five is, how does your job affect your lifestyle? This is a very good question, and I have to tell you, it's important, right? So, for example, if you're on an assignment or an expedition, you'll be away for months and you will never have the opportunity to speak to your parents, your siblings, your friends, or your family members, your pets, whoever. And also at the same time, you might miss family events, social events, your favorite cartoon, TV programs, documentaries, films, you can name it. So, those are the problems that I faced previously while working. On the other hand, is because the job is extreme, you might have sleeping problems. I have that now. I can't sleep very early, and sometimes I can't sleep at all. So because you're constantly thinking about what to do and how to do stuff, and that might affect your sleeping patterns. And I guess sooner or later it will take a toll on your body as well, because endurance activities in extreme locations and environments, you need to prepare your mind and your body to be out there in the first place. And when you come back after an expedition, I usually just sleep for 3 to 4 days and recover. So, yep, that is probably the short term effects. Long term, no, I am not experiencing anything at this moment of time. I hope I answered your question. Uh, the next one is, what do you enjoy about the job, and what do you find difficult? It's obvious that I love animals, right? So I enjoy that the most. I enjoy being out in the wild. I think I've answered this in the previous question as well. What I find difficult is sometimes you are not built to be in a certain environment, right? So, I mean, I was born here in Malaysia. So if you throw me in the Arctic or Antarctica, it's places like that, I think I'm gonna have a tough time because it's very cold and things like that. So, yeah, based on my last experience working with National Geographic, I almost had altitude motion sickness. It's when you like have difficulty breathing or eating or even drinking water. So, yeah, I think being in tough environments gives you a difficult time. Another one is I find it hard to concentrate at 100% while doing the job, because people might say taking photographs is probably the easiest thing you can do, but it's actually not, because the trick is for you to bring home something that could last forever. You know, that's that's the motive or the target at least. So that's the difficult part. Yeah, when you're traveling, also another thing is you bring a lot of stuff. My equipment's at least about 20 kilos every time I travel. So those are the little things that I find difficult while on the job. So I think we have come to the last question. What are the tips for those who want to do the same job? Okay. How do I make this easy? Uh, okay. What you should do is you should ask yourself if you really want to do photography. That's number one. And number two is you should ask yourself what type of photography that you want to do. Okay, you need to decide that. You need to decide if you want to do wildlife, landscapes, people, conservation stories, or macro, anything. Decide that. Number three is that how are you going to specialize in that? For example, if you want to be a wildlife photographer, do you want to specialize in reptiles, or do you want to specialize in amphibians or mammals or birds? Okay, so now you have chosen the type of photography you want to do, and also the specialization that you plan to do. The next one would be, how do you want to make something your own? You know, my advice would be to never ever ever do something that has been done before. Okay, no one told me this when I first started out, so I want you guys to follow this. Do not do anything that has been done before. For an example, if you want to photograph a frog, right, go online or just check all the images in all the archives. They're all available in the internet right now. Go and figure it out and photograph something that has been never done before. Make it your own. Do not follow other people's footsteps. Be unique and be yourself. Tip number two would be always be passionate. Okay, never do anything for the money. Money is important, right? I'm not saying it's not. You need money for the camera, for your travel expenses and things like that, but it should not be your first motive. Your first motive is because you love what you're doing. So you need to make sure you're passionate enough to push yourself into the field of photography. Tip number three would be learn how to be strong mentally and physically, because I'm not sure if you guys have been reading a lot of stories of other people who have succeeded in the industry. Even in the film industry, for example, any kinds of industry, if I may say, the struggle will be real, because going after something that you're passionate about is not an easy task or an easy path in the first place. So push yourself, be strong, always be positive, be passionate, and never ever give up. All right? It's never about the destination, but always about the journey. And another tip would be, uh, try to acquire as much knowledge and skills you can for yourself. If you want to be a photographer or a filmmaker, don't only, I'm so sorry. Yeah, if you want to be a photographer or filmmaker, do not only do photography alone. Try to absorb as many skills as you can. For example, maybe screenwriting, um, handling the cameras. Not only one cameras, maybe five, six different type of cameras. Your knowledge in biology, in the animals or landscape, and your technical skills, your editing skills. You need to know how to edit pictures, right? Of course, obviously. But if you can, learn how to edit videos, learn sound design. You know, how do people record sounds of animals and insects and stuff like that. Learn a lot of things, as much as you can, because it's going to be competitive, right? So learn something unique, learn as much as you can, and the more knowledge you have, the more people want to work with you. The last tip I would be giving you guys is that no matter how smart you are, no matter how good you are in whatever you do, always be humble. Okay, that is the secret of success. You can ask anyone, right? People who are successful, or even me, I can tell you this. If you are not humble, right? And if you're arrogant, if you are, um, how would I say it? If you have this entitlement, or this kind of ego in you, if you're not professional, people don't want to work with you. You have to be the nice guy. Not too nice, okay? But yeah, a little bit of nice. Be humble, make friends, network with a lot of people, and eventually you'll make it. So I think we have come to the end of the video. Mm, I hope I answered all of your questions. Okay, and if you have any further questions on top of this, and if you don't think that I've given you the right answer, you can always send me an email, or if you have my social media accounts, you can follow me there and drop me a question there, things like that. So yeah, I think we're done. So I wish you guys the best, and yeah, stay wild. Okay, bye bye.